this video, I think we're going to talk about, we've already talked about attitude, knowledge, and today we're going to talk about skills, right?
Yeah, so people come out of this 5-day course and they've got this ton of knowledge and they're wondering, okay, how do I roll this out? Like, how do I make this knowledge work?
Because there's a number of skills, or known as what's known as core competencies, that we want to set people up with so that they can really practice the knowledge that they've just learned. I kind of liken it to, the idea of learning another language in, going to another country, doing a 3-week intensive, and coming back. You have to have somebody else to talk to in order to, in order to really make those skills come to life. Yeah.
And at the same time, a lot of people want to do this RCP, the Recovery Coach Professional designation, so they can have that RCP behind their name. And to do that, they need to clear this panel interview through CCAR that at the time of this filming had about a 50% failure rate. People who've been through our mentorship, we haven't heard anyone that has failed this. They've all cleared it.
Because what they actually are looking at is they are testing on the 3-legged stool. And the 3-legged stool is essentially, it's four things, because the seat overall is treating people as resourceful, active listening, asking good questions, and managing your own stuff.
Yeah. And if we can get that seat of that stool, treating people as resourceful, a lot of that stuff flows into place. And that's really sort of seeing people as, the experts of their own lives. And they know the best pathway forward for them into recovery. And it's difficult because, somebody who's been in long-term recovery and has a specific pathway that they've trod through their recovery will often think that this is the way forward.
Yeah.
But it might not be the best way forward for another person or the person they're dealing with. So letting go of those reins and allowing them to carve their own pathway forward can be a real challenge.
Yeah.
And I'm always heartened to see people that can do that as we work forward through the process with them. Having them allow people to find their own pathway forward is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's a new way of being for a lot of folks that, maybe they've been used to being a sponsor or the advice giver, or, somebody that people go to when they need advice. And that's a temptation. That really is a temptation in coaching, right?
Yeah.
And that's part of managing our own stuff. Sometimes we like to have all the answers. Sometimes we like to be that person that, well, just ask me, I will give you the right piece of advice, because we can see things from our own perspective. But we're inviting people to really think about what is right for them. One of the ways that we do that is by asking those good questions, which are often open-ended questions, or just a powerful question that gets people answering in a multi-sentence paragraph answer, as opposed to just a yes or no answer.
And another aspect of this is managing your own stuff. And it may sound like simple, okay, manage my own stuff, I'm good. But it's more the idea of really realizing what you're bringing into the room, or into the coaching session. Now, you could be all gold until the phone rings, 2 minutes before the session, and you get some jarring news or whatever happens. Just knowing that you're bringing whatever that is into that session, just realizing that it's there can be curative to that coaching session. Just realizing that, okay, I'm a little agitated from this phone call. I just need to reset and bring it in here. Knowing that there's something alive for you there. Not knowing is where it becomes problematic.
And having the ability to kind of neutralize it by putting it aside for now, going, yeah, okay, I'm aware that I feel agitated or there's something alive in me, but being able to just put it aside for now. And, the beautiful thing about it is that coaching really does offer that continual ability to grow, self-growth for me as a coach, because I will often, maybe there might be something that is said and I go, ooh, that activated something in me. So I can neutralize it, put it aside so that I can still be helpful to the person that's in front of me, but at the same time return to it and go, okay, what just happened there?
You become a better coach as a result of those realizations. They also want to be looking out for active listening or mindful listening. And, it may sound like this is something that's, sort of easy to arrive at. It's not. We're not built to be good listeners. One case is that our mind works at 3 to 4 times the speed of speech.
Yeah.
So it's got all kinds of idle time to be, thinking about this or that if we allow it to. Now, the idea is bringing all of ourselves into what we're hearing. The other part of it is there's a part of our brain, the anterior cingulate cortex, which is self-referencing. It's like, what's this got to do with me? What's this got to do with me?
Yeah.
So it's constantly asking us, okay, what I'm hearing, did I have an experience like that? Or whatever. So it's a matter of knowing that that's there and bringing yourself back to this conversation over and over and over and just staying with it and staying intrigued and involved and curious about what you're hearing. But at the same time, the person who's doing the talking, that I mean, to be heard is there's few things like it in life, to be actually really, really be heard.
Yeah.
And people that are talking to you will know that when you're with them. And when you're with them, it brings something to them that a lot of times, particularly with the cohort we're dealing with, they've never been heard like that before in their lives.
There's that beautiful quote, I'm not sure who said it, but the idea of people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And then that other one that we often talk about, how that, being heard is so close to being loved that sometimes you can't distinguish between the two. Very, very important piece of that three-legged stool that also starts with treating people as resourceful. And, our whole idea with the Recovery Coach Mentorship, which is what we're talking about in terms of skills development, it's once a week online. And we have 1 week of didactic training, like treating people as resourceful. And within that class, we will, in fact, operationalize and, really it's grounded in practice of what that actually means and what it looks like. We have coaches that are in each of the rooms, the breakout rooms, to make sure that, people are being assessed on their skills and given feedback. And then the following week is motivational interviewing practice, but it's tied to what they just learned the week before. So, for example, last week we learned about establishing empathy, had a beautiful course on establishing empathy and did some practice work there. But then the following week, we just, like this past week, we had them in pairs in real play, talking about something that had happened.
And the point being is that a lot of people think, well, either you're empathic or empathetic or you're not. And the thing is that you can actually learn those empathic skills to bring that into a conversation. That can actually be trained into you, and you can cultivate it within yourself so that you're with somebody in a lot more meaningful way than had you not.
Those pieces of that of Recovery Coach Mentorship, we focus on, that three-legged stool, and all in preparation for the all-important RCP panel interview, which happens, after your mentorship and ethical considerations. And that's what we want to really train and prepare people for. Even though the designation, the certifications, those are all important and valuable, we always like to say that our most important thing is to be qualified over certified. And that this course is where the rubber meets the road, where you actually really get to put those skills into practice and really be grounded as a coach. Our next thing we're going to talk about is the values and ethics, and that's in our next video. We'll talk about that course and how important it is, and that is the full suite of the training that we offer, which helps to launch people into the world of recovery coaching and in a very powerful, effective, informed, and ethical way.